I suppose, I can start now. Yes, I can. Hello, everybody. We're going live. Before I do that, I'm going to do some adjustments here. I do want to welcome everybody. Even if no one is here live, which is understandable because I haven't published a video in a long time, and this is the first time I'm going live. I'm very excited about this, and I'll introduce myself in a bit. And let's see now. I do want to say that I'm also activating the YouTube, not the YouTube. Well, YouTube, yes, of course, but interacting that with a Zoom. So if somebody wants to come on and say, "Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Ed?" That's fine with me. So I'll just go ahead and introduce myself. And the point of this is really two purposes. One, I want this video to be published, of course, and people are just watching whenever they can. That's absolutely fine. And the other purpose is for if people have any questions, they could just interact. They can send a question through YouTube, the live stream, or they can even make an appearance here on Zoom. Okay, so I do want to be accessible. I want there to be engagement. I do want to make these videos more often. I have not, of course, this is my first time. Let me introduce myself and then we'll go from there. How about that? My name is Edward Paul Reyes, and who am I? How do I want to identify myself? I'm American. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California. I was in the military, the Marine Corps. I'm now an attorney, a practicing attorney, and I consider Russia my second home. I've been here in Russia for almost 6 years. Have I dated Russian girls? Yes, I've dated many Russian girls, and some of you guys can see. All right, you guys have watched my videos on YouTube. Some of you even follow me on Instagram. And so I have a lot of experience in dating Russian girls. I do want to make this video, this channel more the audience. I want to focus on men, right? Because men, we seem to be, right, we're at a point where there's a lot of lonely men in the United States and probably everywhere else in the Western world. I don't know about other places, but it's just narrow like discussion to those areas. And a lot of men really are sad, depressed is the word I would use. And of course, we all want someone in our lives. We want someone to start, someone to love us. We want to love. We want all of that. We want to, like some of us want to raise a family. And yeah, that's how it is. But at the end of the day, we want love. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you guys my story. Well, not my story, but just, how about this? How about I tell you guys my first girlfriend in Russia? And I'll talk a little bit about why I left the United States. Okay, and some of you guys, oh, okay, yeah. So some of you guys know Phil. I'm gonna have a lot of Phil fans here. That's fine. If you don't know Phil, he is the person from New York. He's the one that said, "Hey, Ed, I'm out here in Russia. Why don't you come down and say hello?" And so I did. And that was in 2017. So what's going on, Garlic? ¿Dónde me encuentro? Garlic speaks Spanish. Estoy en Rusia, Garlic. I'm in Russia. I do want to talk about Russia too, because right now, as I publish this, it's January the 2nd, 2023 in the United States. So I'm not, okay, so let's just leave it at that for now. There's a lot going on in the world. I do want to stay focused on the discussion about the discussion at hand. Why I left the United States and my first girlfriend in Russia. So why I left the United States? So I was dating girls, and it just seemed to me that a lot of girls already had either they had the high body count, or they had a child or children from other men. Many times it was from multiple men. I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong. If you want a woman that already has a child, that might be actually that might be a good uh, uh, that might be the proper, I would say, circumstances for you. Under certain circumstances. I can't talk about that at a later time. But that's not the discussion today. And why was that not my preference? It was not my preference because I just wanted to marry a woman that was never married before and that did not have children. So that was becoming, right, as I was getting a little older, in my age, right, there's American girls, they have this thing with the age, the gap. They don't want a high gap. In other countries like Russia, you don't find that. You don't find that age, that gap is much of a concern. Of course, there are conditions. I could easily talk about that as well. Yeah, but I think I have it in my notes, talk about the age gap in Russia. And I do want to talk about Eastern European women. I just don't want to just kind of pigeonhole myself in discussion about Russia. But let me tell you guys what happened. And so I came to Russia in 2017, in March 2017. But there was another event that took place in 2006. Now, I'll tell you guys about that very briefly. But there was the World Cup. And by the way, I followed the World Cup. And so I decided to go to, you guys remember where the 2006 World Cup was held? You guys remember that? Okay. So if you don't remember, it was in Germany. So my brother and I were like, okay, let's go to Germany. So we went to Germany, and something strange happened. For some reason, well, he met up with some of his friends that he knew, which was really, really awesome. So we're like, hey, look, why don't we kind of go towards the eastern part of the country, right? And then of course you have Budapest, you have Slovakia, where you have those eastern, like the Eastern Bloc countries. And so we went. Long story short, when we got to Slovakia, to like the capital of Slovakia, who knows who was the capital of Slovakia is? What is the capital of Slovakia? Okay, if you don't know, but Bratislava, that's what it was. And something bizarre happened when we got to the city. Like I was blown away. I was like, wow. And two things really stood out. Number one was the quality of women, like beautiful, like these like model-like females, and they were like pretty much everywhere. And you see those kind of girls in Los Angeles. Where do you see them? Like, for example, in Beverly Hills, you see them Rodeo Drive. You see them where they have expensive merchandise. And how do they look? How do they look like? They're thin. You guys, how do these like upper, like, how would I describe these women in the United States? Women that have maybe like a rich husband. How about that? Right? Housewives, maybe. But yeah, they're thin. They're beautiful. A lot of them are young, or they preserve their youth. And yeah, you also see them like at Trader Joe's by the beach cities. For example, in Manhattan Beach, you see them during the daytime because that's when they go out and buy the food. They do the grocery shopping while the man is out working, right? But in Rodeo Drive, you see them dressed up, whereas in the other places, you see them in sports gear or they look casual. But here, they were everywhere, all over the city. And who did I see them with? Did I see them with men in Lamborghinis? No, this is the second part that was bizarre. It blew my mind. They were with men who I would consider out of shape, raggedy, looking, just their clothes just they weren't looking sharp. It was just a casual man, right? And but all these guys were, I mean, they had these really incredibly looking beautiful women. And so that was bizarre. So that stood in my mind. Like, what's going on here? Like, what's this Eastern European? I didn't even know how to categorize it. So I'm going to try to look at some of your comments. And it says, oh, can you get closer to the mic? So hopefully that's better. This is a different computer for me. And so I actually need to buy a microphone. I actually have the microphone here, all right? But long story short, let's just say that I just want to start live streaming, and I'll deal with the deficiencies as they come along. Okay, so I will try to be a little bit loud. Hopefully everyone has heard me, but the audio has been sufficient for now. Hopefully that's been the case. So I think it was in 2010 when I decided I wanted to get married. And again, long story short, the woman that I liked, I mean, how should I say this? The high body count thing just kind of, it just kind of, I would say shattered me. It just shattered me. I was like, wow. I would tell you guys a number, but yeah, it was painful. It was like, honestly, here's what happened. Like, I didn't want to ask her. I didn't want to know about those kind of things, but she kept kind of, bringing things up about her past. So I was like, well, this happens again, and I'll just bring it up. And so, yeah, I asked the question, and it was difficult. I remember I was like, so how many? Like, I was shaking. I didn't want to know, but at that point, it's like I thought I had to know. And this was in 2010, and I think I feel like I was alone. Now in 2023, I think that term that I used, I think it's more prevalent. But back then I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm alone. Like, why do I feel this way? Like, there wasn't very much more support in that area. But I knew enough that I had to find a different location. So I started, it became my goal to leave the United States, pay off my debts. And so when 2016 came along, I was mentally prepared to leave the United States. And of course, I thought about Bratislava, Slovakia, because I had been there and I had seen, right, the quality of woman. And so I started studying the language, Slovakian. But then I started hearing about the World Cup, and then I started seeing just the geographical size of Slovakia in comparison to Russia. And I'm like, well, if I learn this language, look, I'm going to be limited to this certain region. But if I learn Russian, look, it's like territory-wise, it's the biggest country in the world. So I'm like, well, the World Cup is in Russia 2018. Why don't I just go to Russia? So in 2017, that's when I came to Russia. And I was with Tim. You guys know Tim. There's some, yeah. Anyway, I'm not trying to say any names here. Because a lot of people, they've come and, right, they come and go, they come and go. And so when I came to Russia, um, right away, I was awestruck. Also, I was also in Ukraine. I was in Kiev, and I was impressed, very impressed by the quality of women. I thought they were very beautiful. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. Let me see if I can explain how beautiful these women are. So let me, okay, so, okay, let me go beyond beauty. Let me go beyond. Um, let's see if I can use another term for how beautiful they were. Um, Drop dead gorgeous. That's another term that I would use. Or they're shockingly beautiful. That's another term. Let's see. Let me see if I can remember the terms that we would use here with the fellas to describe them. They are oh, somewhere along the lines of shockingly beautiful. Anyway, the reason why I can't remember is because those were like the tens, right? So think about it that way. When you see so many girls and they're like 8 and 9s, right? And and then you see a 10, it's like, wow, it's like amazing. But that's what I saw in Kiev. When I came to Russia, I saw a little bit more of that. And yeah, it took me a while. I'll just be honest with you guys. I'll just be honest. I was looking for a girl, right? Even not even a girlfriend, maybe, just to kind of, have intimate relations with, right? And it was very difficult. That's another thing you guys gotta know about Eastern European women. I heard about the 3-day rule, and what it is that they won't have sex with you. Of course, there are exceptions, but most of the time they won't have sex with you. You have to go on dates with them at least 3 times. So trying to get a girl to commit or to, I mean, you go on a date with the girl, that's not a problem. Now, can you go on a second date with the girl or with the Eastern European girl, right? They are very, I don't know if you guys know this, but they are very flaky. And I know that some people won't put up with that. I mean, that's fine if you're at that level. But if you're just, right, if you want to date girls and you don't have a lot of money, right? Like, I don't want to say, let me rephrase that. You're not a high level man. And that's another thing that another term that I want to distinguish between the pickup artist or the red pill guy. Well, what other terms are there for men categories? What is that? Metal, right? And then there's the high level man. So you have all these categories, right? So for the high value man, I'm not gonna talk about that in this video. I'm not gonna talk about it. Will I talk about it in an upcoming video? Yes, I definitely want to tell you guys about the high value man in Russia. I think that's really where you want to be, right? And you can achieve that at a lower tax bracket than in the United States because of arbitrage. What's arbitrage? See, I'm talking about it now. I'm talking about the high level man. Arbitrage is an economic term, and it just means that a product or an item or a person, right? Well, not really a person in economic terms, but the value is higher when the location is changed. So for an American man in Russia, then of course it's right, it's higher value because of the quality, the quantity, not the quality, the quantity of men. There's not that many Americans here. So the value goes up. Okay, so, but I don't want to talk about the high value man in this video. Right, I guess if I would consider myself, I wasn't a pickup artist. I mean, I did get training. Um, I did have a coach, but it was something that I said, okay, I'm gonna just do this full time. I'm gonna just dedicate myself to that. So I was pretty much my normal guy. Um, right. And so yeah, it took me a while. It took me a while to find like, to do the deed. But okay, so let me go back to the video here. The theme of the video, my first girlfriend. How did I meet her? Very interesting. So what I did was after yeah, I arrived here at the city, well, at the city back then in July, right? So you guys can imagine. Okay, so July, August, September. In September, that's when I went to a salsa class. So by the way, if you guys want to meet women, I'm sure you heard this before. Dancing is a great place to meet women. And so I met her, and she's the one that approached me, and we just started talking, and I think we went on, I think it was at least 5 dates. We went, yeah, we just talked a lot. We played chess. We would drink coffee, and yeah, it was great. And I think I don't know how many times it was that we dated. And then I think it was on six. I don't know, 5 or 6. It was at least 5 times. And then you know that's when you guys know what I'm talking about. You do the deed, right? So that was great. That was great. And the thing about these Russian girls is that they're once you're in that relationship, they will be very loyal to you. Right? They will just look at you like you're like you're a great person. And all my friends would see that, and all my friends liked her and everything. And so I thought, yeah, I mean, I was happy, but at that time I wasn't like, okay, let's get married, let's settle down, let's have children. So it was more like we're just not even thinking about like 2, 3 years from now. So we ended up together, I would say 2 years and maybe like 3 months, which I really think that is too long for a relationship that is just going to suddenly end. Like there's no children, nothing like that. There's no marriage plans. So I think I was with her. I think I was with her. Um, I think I was with her for, yeah, I think 2 years. I think that would have been the cutoff time. Why did we break up? Now I'll tell you guys why we broke up. I think that's very important. We broke up because I told her I'm an honest person. I don't like to lie. Not I think that's a big problem here with dating. Um, I told her, I said, hey, I'll be straight up. I'll be straight up. I want to date other women. I still want to have you, but I want to date other women, right? And we did have that discussion. And at first she was like, no, we can't do that. We if you do that, we're gonna break up. And so she proposed something. She said, well, why don't we invite other couples? And I was like, no. Right away. I don't even think I contemplated that. I'm like, no, no. So right, we did kind of linger on that concept of me having other girls. But then it just came down to it. Like I just asked her straight up. I said, look, I can't take this anymore because I did want to be with other women. I said, look, that's okay. I'm gonna tell you my intentions. If you don't want to stay with me, you can just, I understand. And she left, right? And so, right, a lot happened there, and I can save that for a breakup video. I have all these themes, you guys. I have all these themes. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna write that down. The breakup, because I know those tend to be very uh, hurtful. Breakup, right? We all go through that. We all go through that. I don't want to talk about that with this video, but definitely at a later time. Yeah, but I kind of, after we broke up, I regretted. I regretted, right, the decision. And but I understood because she did not want to have children. She did not want to. She said she wanted to have children like maybe like in 10 years. And I was like, well, if I were, we weren't on the same page as far as marriage and having children. So we broke up. And so that was my first girlfriend. I mean, it was great. What I could say again is that they are loyal. They're beautiful. They are slim. Yeah, they don't have that positive the body positivity image. They don't have that here. Also, the other thing that they don't have is that in the United States, like there almost seems to be like a competition between men and women. Like, okay, like the woman's like, okay, we're gonna be, what's the term that they use? We're going to be boss, right? I'm gonna be a boss man. You're gonna be a boss woman, and we're gonna build our empire together, right? So those right there, when a woman says that, that's more of a masculine trait. Women here, they don't speak like that. They understand that the man is the leader. In fact, if the man is not the leader, he's going to have a very difficult time here in Russia, because that's just it's more of a natural kind of dynamic for the man to just lead and the woman to follow. That's what I'm saying. It's more natural. But in the United States, we kind of had some social inputs there that they convolute the circumstances. And I think that has led to a lot of men just being unhappy and lonely. And again, I do want to share my experiences because, and I know many men are not interested in marriage. I understand that. But some men are interested in marriage, and that's why they become pickup artists, or they follow, right, a lot of the suggestions, because ultimately they want to marry and have children. So I'm going to share my stories here in this channel. Do I have a time, a date? No, probably not yet. All I know is that it's going to be probably in the evening. I'll shoot for maybe 3 times a week, right around this time, which I started Pacific Standard Time at 4 p.m. So Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. And yeah, so if you have any questions, just think about them, and then next time we meet, you can ask me, and maybe some of you guys want to make an appearance here, which is great. I'll go ahead and share the Zoom link with you. So I think that's about it. It's already late here where I'm at, and so I'm going to get going. So thank you very. Oh, by the way, didn't you? Yeah, everything. I think I covered all the points. Yeah, I'll talk on more topics soon. Okay, thank you for watching, and oh yeah, hit that subscribe button. All right, and the little bell, all that good stuff. Okay, thank you so much. Until soon. Let me go ahead and hit stop. It's gonna take me a while to hit stop here and stream.